Welcome everyone to the Monday, November Hartland Selectboard meeting. It is 5:30. If you haven't, please sign a list as we need to, for public record, make sure everybody's here. The first order of business, I would entertain a motion to accept both the regular select board minutes as well as the executive session for October the 21st. Is there a motion to do that?
So moved.
Thank you. Second.
No, second.
Thank you. Any comments? What's that? Okay. Hearing on, all in favor, say aye. Motion passes. Next order of business are the warrants or the accounts payable from today. Again, I need a motion to accept them.
Move to accept.
Thank you, Tom. Second.
Also.
Second. Any discussion?
Well, your big trailer world, the blade for $8,000, is that to the breaker?
That's a V plow.
Oh, the V plow. Okay.
Is that a blade?
No, that is a plow. That is a V plow that we purchased from Big Tex.
I think so.
Big Tex Trailer World. I think also formerly known as Lucky's.
Oh, I know what it's like.
And then the computer for CCR, is that just a computer or is there other?
Has that done, Chris? That is new computers. That was that's our computer equipment budget this year. So that was a computer for Martin, for Michelle, for Bob in the lister's office, and some reshuffling for myself.
I thought one computer.
Nope, that was four.
That was
Purchase of the gravel or stone from Twin State, is that for a specific project or is that just storehouses?
Just storing for
Great. And John, something I'm always confused on, just after reading the Valentines article about regional government, but the payment to the Windsor County Treasurer for the courthouse,
that was a long-standing agreement. That's our annual payment for the courthouse renovations, correct? I believe so, yes.
And do we still have a payment to them as a county payment for the running of that courthouse?
I believe we make an annual payment to the courthouse, to the Windsor County as well.
Okay.
I think that went out, that was earlier this summer. I'll double check them.
Yeah, it's 15 grand, it's pretty significant.
Right.
2 days. It's $30,000.
Okay, thank you, Martin.
End date to that?
Sorry?
Is there an end date to that, or is that continuous year after year?
I don't know.
So there are annual payments we made for Windsor County. And then there's for the renovations, they must have borrowed money.
I think
$4
yeah.
million.
How much?
They borrowed $4 million.
Or, there you go. It's going to be a while.
Okay.
Okay. Any other questions on the warrants? Bruce, yes, sir.
It's coming.
The green folder. Is that what you're still posting?
That's going back.
Okay, forgiveness here for a moment. All in favor of the warrants through today, say aye.
Aye.
Okay.
It's going to be interesting.
Forgive me, there's a formality that we need signatures on certain documents. We're getting our act together here, so. Adjustments to the agenda. I would like to add an executive session to discuss an HR issue. John, I think that was all we had.
That's correct.
So I guess I need a motion to adjust the agenda to add executive session. There'd be no action, so it's just a discussion.
The motion.
Okay, thank you. So second?
I'll second.
Okay. Are there any public comments other than hotel? Anything on that?
No, I'm just wondering where that echo is coming. What's that? Thanks. All set.
Okay. Going on to old business, the first item are the three corners intersection pedestrian lights. In our packet, there's some information from Apex Lighting. John, will you walk us through what we have?
Sure. So this is so Bob Summers with Apex Lighting, which is a large lighting consultant. We met about a month ago and walked through the intersection project, provided the details for what we had, the schematics for the laid underground conduit, things like that, and talked about what we needed for lights. And this is what they came back with. This is based on their recommendations. This is, to be clear, just the cost of the lights themselves. This does not include the cost of the installation or any of the wiring that we might need to do that work. So Bob, the lighting consultant, has been actively trying to get follow up with electrical contractors to get, price estimates for the actual installation. He has been striking out. The feedback is that they're all busy trying to wrap up their projects before winter. We have time because this is not going to happen immediately, but at the same time, it would be good to make a decision and move forward so we can be ready for when we're able to install the lights in the spring.
Is that a process that you need to send to, you need to put out an RFP, or is it just, you just work with?
I think, well, the town voted to allocate up to $100,000 from the reserve fund at town meeting. We should possibly, for the installation of them, put out an RFP, yes. But I think we're still in the information gathering. Because at this point, we didn't have firm numbers to work with up until now. So this is for 6 lights. You see 6 lights at $45,000. That's just the lights themselves. The plan was originally for 11. I think there was a little back and forth. The light by the library crosswalk on the existing kind of Cobra light on the telephone pole can be turned. So that brings the total down to 10 if we went with all of them. If we take that approximately $6,000 number that's within this Apex quote here, that's about $60,000, which leaves money available for the installation of the lights. If we go with if the board chooses to go with all 10.
Repeat that, the price for the installation of all the lights?
The price for the installation with all the lights? Well, the price for the lights itself is going to be about $60,000.
Yes. So, but what's the difference between the design we already had for 10 and the new design? Like, what changes?
It's a good question, because one of the questions I have is we had a state approval on the photometric study based on the lights that got quotes on. So I want to make sure that these lights from Apex are the same lumens, that we would be able to qualify under that umbrella of the approval of the state. And then I don't know the true answer to your question.
Rich, repeat your question one more time.
So So there was some analysis done, right? Yeah, we'll take the library right out of it.
Correct.
There's some analysis that was done where we thought the right number was 10.
Correct.
And we have some new analysis that said, well, maybe the right number could be 6. What's the difference between?
The difference is this 6 is just the intersection. It doesn't have the backlighting along the embankment.
So that's 2 more over there.
That's
1 more.
Right. 2.
They dropped one out of the intersection, out of the crosswalk. At the green space, I think we had 2 lights there. It seems like they condensed that to 1.
So when we met with him, I did ask the question, specifically the intersection, the corner by the bank there, like can 1 light be sufficient because those crosswalks are so close together? The feedback that I got was that by and large, the standard is to have 1 light at every intersection, at the end of every crosswalk. So that's how we get to this number. Yeah.
2 more.
On the far side of the sidewalk. Yeah. So until I had anticipated having the electric contractor feedback for the board meeting tonight, obviously we don't have that. So we're still kind of in this like waiting phase, but we would like to get this done, have the numbers in place. We can go out to bid for the installation of the lights themselves.
John, I have, not with me tonight, but I have the information for the electrical contractor that did the work of the intersection.
Yep.
That pulled the wire
Yep.
that we would be using and so on. So I'll make sure I get that.
That'd be great. And we have the final schematics to show where the conduit was laid as well. So.
Mhm.
Do we need a certain type of, or can a licensed electrician wire these things?
A licensed electrician can wire these things. It's not a commercial electrician.
Jim, to your point, I think there's also a difference. These are aluminum poles as opposed to steel. And there's a debate out there as to which is the better option to do. This document seems to say the aluminum are coated and are going to last for 20 years or something.
So what's our process for agreeing to move forward with these things? How are we doing?
There's, in my opinion, there's 2 things that need to be determined. I don't believe we have come to a final decision on the number of lights to be installed. And then once we have the estimate on the actual installation, but I think I would advise the board to not make a final determination until we have the true costs of the actual installation of the lights and the poles and any other associated construction work.
So we have a recommendation here from a lighting person. Are people okay with this, or 6 weeks down the road is somebody will go, yeah, but what about this one? I guess we haven't, you know what I mean? We haven't made a decision here. In an effort to try to move it forward, are we happy with just working with Apex Lighting? And
That's fine. I don't have enough knowledge in my brain to know if we should go with a stainless steel pole or if we should go with aluminum. Sounds fine to me as long as they're bolted.
it's full disclosure, so a friend of mine, a very good friend of mine, is in the lighting industry, and he recommended this guy.
Okay.
And he said, if any of their outside lighting they do, this company is the one that does it all. They're very reputable. So I feel if this guy is recommending this.
Yeah, I was working on the assumption that people who do the lights for Boston Logan and Mass DOT are qualified to put up 10 lights in Hartland. So I feel confident in moving forward with it.
John, did you give them the
Yes.
photometric study?
Yep, they have all the information that we had.
And I too will make the leap there. I think, just so everyone knows, there's also an aesthetic component to this that we've been criticized for putting up something that isn't necessarily in the feel of town. And, so we will sort of make sure everyone is aware of what we're doing. But we need the streetlights up there.
Yeah.
That's- Okay, any other thoughts on streetlights?
Just that in business, it's materials and labor. So like you can buy these, but what happens if the contractor that you hired doesn't like these or doesn't want to work with that company?
Right, obviously, we would have to,
And what if his labor prices are so high or their labor prices are so high that it makes it unaffordable and you've now bought $45,000 worth of lights that we're sitting someplace in storage?
we will ensure to the best of our ability that that does not take place.
Okay.
We will have the lighting design in place and we can then, when we go into bid to hire a contractor to install them. So when we hire that selected contractor,
You'll have to.
you are working to install these selected lights.
There's got to be somebody out there.
I think we can,
Okay.
yes.
Okay, accept. Okay, going on to new business, the first item is the Bird Hill Road reclassification. What we would like to do tonight is just have hear your thinking. There's a lot of folks here, so thank you all for coming. What we will do is, after tonight, have a public site visit. We have to have it public because the five of us go. It's a meeting, so we would set a date for that you'll be aware of. And traditionally, after the site visit, we come back to Denman Hall and hear any additional testimony. And then after that, in a separate session, the select board will make a decision. So that's the process that we would like to go through. That's what we've been going through. I guess it was just a couple of years ago, we went through this with Eastern Road. So welcome, and I'd love to hear your thoughts.
I think I'm Debbie Davis. I think I have the most comprehensive notes. You might not want to hear them all, but I put together like 3 pages worth of information. I live in the first house on Bird Hill.
First house over the bridge?
Across the bridge, as you come across the bridge, south Bird Hill. So history on the bridge. The concrete block walls were built prior to Irene, 2011. The side toward our houses was built 3 weeks before Irene, and the side toward Brownsville Road was built prior to that. But I don't have that date, but it was within a year. The bridge, the beams, the decking, and the railings were replaced 11/4/16, ironically 8 years ago today. The bridge was replaced at this time due to deterioration of the original beams. The beams were purchased from Capital Steel in Montpelier, Vermont. We replaced the original 2 I-beam bridge with a 4 I-beam bridge. The bridge is 32 feet, 4 inches long. You don't have to write all this down. I'm going to give you guys each a copy of this. The bridge is 32 feet, 4 inches long, and 14 feet, 3 inches wide. The 4 I-beams weigh 8,680 pounds. They are 32 feet long, 24 inches high, and 7 inches wide each. The decking weighs 9,400 pounds. They are 2x6s, pressure treated, standing on edge, screwed together. The beams are rated for 20,000 pounds each, for a total of 80,000 pounds. This leaves available load weight when you take off the decking weight of 70,600 pounds. Although Matt Dow said he wouldn't be afraid to put 90,000 pounds over that bridge. One house on the hill had a septic replaced last year. Being concerned about the weight of a few loaded dump trucks, we questioned their weight. They were 73,000 pounds on one load. The bridge handled this just fine. I'm pretty sure Matt Dow said a fully loaded fire truck was about 46,000 pounds. I may be wrong, but I think that's what he told me. Capital Steel told us to stand our pressure-treated decking on their side and screw them together this way, as it makes for a much stronger bridge. These were screwed together at Blacktop's shop in about 4-foot sections and delivered from there. The guardrails are former state of Vermont guardrails that they had removed and replaced. Matt Dow knows this bridge inside and out, as we do, and he can answer any questions about this bridge also. He did the work for us. This summer, Matt Dow helped us pour concrete around the base of the concrete block wall on our side of the bridge to keep water from getting underneath the blocks. The side towards Brownsville Road has riprap as added protection for that wall. This bridge is very well constructed and can hold a decent amount of weight. This bridge is built as good, if not better, than most other bridges in town. We never lost our bridge during Irene or the big storms last summer, a testament to how well this bridge is built. The road is all gravel underneath and twin pack on top. We have kept our road very well maintained. Width-wise, we have measured the whole road all the way up through to the top. At the narrowest, the road is 14 feet. At the widest, it is 18 feet. We measured a bunch of other town-maintained roads. Here are the results. Flower Lane, which has one house on it, 12 feet wide. Windy Meadow, 14 to 16 feet wide. Tinkham Hill, 14 to 16 feet wide. Densmore Hill in a random spot, 18 feet wide. Lovers Lane, random spot, 16 feet wide. Richardson Farm Road, one house on it, 12.5 to 13 feet wide. Garsha Lane, we were told recently that the town took it over, and I cannot confirm that because the sign does not say town highway on it. Bald Hill, we just randomly went out to Bald Hill, West Windsor. That is 15 feet wide, but narrows quite a bit up through. This puts us equal to or wider by at least 2 feet to these other roads. Grade, we do not know what the actual grade measures out to be, but we are nowhere near as steep as Tinkham Hill or Garsha Lane and probably other roads that the town maintains. There is an ability to turn around at the end of the road at the last driveway on the road. This would be the same sort of setup that you currently have on Tinkham Hill to turn around. It is under our understanding that if there are 5 or more houses on a road per school regulations, that a road is supposed to be maintained by the town. There are currently 5 children on Bird Hill Road and soon to be 6. Larry and I have lived on Bird Hill for 44 years. We have never had a major weather-related issue with our bridge or our road. It has always just been general maintenance to keep it in tip-top shape. We feel that between the 8 property owners and 7 houses on Bird Hill, that combined, we all pay enough in property taxes that it seems like we could at least get our road maintained by the town. Since we have lived here, we know for sure that Tinkham Hill and Windy Meadow residents successfully petitioned to have their roads reclassified. We have also heard of others, including Garsha Lane. So we are not setting precedent or opening a can of worms, as mentioned in your last board meeting, as that happened long ago when other roads were accepted. We hope you take our request under serious consideration. Please don't hesitate to contact us if you need further information. Debbie and Larry Davis. I have a copy that I would like to give each of you so you can review it and you can whatever you want, start your fire with it. Now I gotta pay for that, right? I have plenty of pictures of the bridge on it. This is as we were building it.
Did we break up?
Don't think so. Yep, so good.
I don't know, I believe there's 10 of us, plus the children, on our hill that are here representing Bird Hill, and if anybody else has anything to add.
Well, I think Deb and Larry did an amazing job getting all this together, plus prior to this, they've been amazing about keeping the bridge maintained very well. It's time for them to step down.
We're getting old.
I have a question for highway foreman. BJ, how many class 3 roads are there?
How many what?
Class 3 roads?
Ooh, I have no idea.
Yeah.
So we have, we maintain 71 roads in town out of 146 total.
Okay.
So that leaves, that's 50% of the roads in town are private.
But continue to petition to get their roads taken over. You know, I guess when you see your tax bills go up the way they do, it's like, okay, what do we get for our money? How much?
Yeah, that's a real dilemma. I have folks who live on Route 5 and some other friends who live on Route 12, and they live on state highways. We do not maintain those, the state does. So their dollars go into, like your dollars.
Well, I get it, yeah. If you consider, we pull off Bird Hill, there's like how many ever feet to Four Corners, and the rest of it's state road that most of us are traveling. I mean, we're not even using the Hartland roads.
I'm going to mention 3 documents that really guide us with our road maintenance. One is a Hartland Road Planning Committee report that's from April of 2020. John, is that online or is it?
No, but I can provide it to folks.
Okay.
I have a copy of it. You'd like to take it with you when you leave, that's fine.
The other 2 are state documents. The Vermont Municipal Roads General Permit, the MRGP. Each year, we sign a document, the Vermont Town Road and Bridge Standards, to say that we meet the requirements laid out in the municipal road general permit. It's a big mouthful. I would ask you to look at those because we'll be looking at them as we make this consideration. There's one of the things that will come up just given Bird Hill and the slope and Lowell Brook is Lowell Brook is a hydraulically connected brook. So Lowell flows into the Connecticut goes into the Atlantic. The state has required ditching with specific size rocks that we need to follow. So this is all background things that will be talked about and considered as we go forward. That's what I wanted to alert you to, is those documents, because our regional planning commission, Two Rivers, did I think it was in 2020, did a survey that the state required of the slope of the existing roads, and we have until John BJ help me, is it 2030 or 2035? That any road that is town maintained has to meet these standards.
But if you look at Tinkham Hill, I'm comparing our road to Tinkham Hill.
I don't know that road.
It has to be where if there's water, like if there's a 7 degree or 10 degree slope going towards water, it has to be stone line ditched. You have like 2030 or 2035 where.
But there's no ditch down by the brook.
And that's something you don't have to, there will have to be a culvert down there, coming up to that hill somehow.
There is one.
Yeah, so where that slope going to that culvert has to be stone line. So that water will go into that brook somehow. And the state, anything going towards towards water, has to be stormwater. Oh, from my reading.
But Phil, you're saying that, you know, as we look at this, that's one of the considerations, one of the documents that we'll have to apply. Yes.
Any other comments from?
Just, so this was the bridge, it's been there forever in my eyes. Was it replaced in 2011?
No. In 2011, the blocks on our side were replaced, were put in because it was like an old stone wall in there or whatever. Matt put blocks on our side 3 weeks before Irene, but the side closest to Brownsville Road was done before that, but within that year. I don't have the date on the side towards the Brownsville Road. And then because of the deterioration of the beams, actually, one of his friends went through the bridge and we discovered that the beams were rotten. So in 2016, 8 years ago today, we replaced the beams, the decking, and the railing.
So it's not, that your house has been there for quite a long time. Your house has been
1980.
on that site.
1980.
And the bridge was built before then?
The original one, but this has all been replaced since 2011. The walls in 2011, and the decking and the rest of it, the beams, the 4 beams, and the decking and the railing in 2016. So that bridge is only 8 years old.
At one point, Dixon's developed that area
Right.
behind us, and
Yes.
he put, I'm thinking it was still stone abutments, but he put some beams in, and, that was until 2011, right?
And they're probably half the size of the beams that are in there now.
Yeah.
And it was on 2, right?
Yes.
No.
It was replacing an existing, so there was no permit involved.
No, Matt contacted the state,
In the state,
said as long as you're not digging in the brook, you don't need to do anything. And even when we did the concrete, he said if you're not digging in the brook, you didn't have to do it.
Work above the water line. Luckily, there's not a whole lot of water right at the moment,
Right.
so
It's
it
pretty
worked
low.
out very well.
Any questions?
So we can schedule a site visit.
Yeah, we will, possibly in 2 weeks, if we can pull it off. Have a late afternoon, Mother's Day like site visit. And we'll take that next step. Okay. Just as you sort of said, if there's any questions, contact you. Please contact John if there's anything, that comes up that you wouldn't.
I think Doug has been contacting you on, not real successfully, but. He's not here tonight to speak for you. Yeah.
Here's that reference to the energy.
I feel like we've been very responsive. I've been responsive, so I don't know what to say. I don't know how to respond to that.
It's been a couple weeks at times, so if there's gonna be a site visit in potentially 2 weeks, and we reach out to you, we just hope within that time we get, 48-hour response.
Correct.
Management
Of course.
of that.
Yep.
We appreciate it, because we're trying to grow research on our end.
Yep.
Is there anything online?
Nope. No comments.
Okay. Thank you.
Wait, Phil.
I just have a question, just clarification. When you were speaking about, the school, did you say that there was a requirement for, private roads and if there's so many school kids on there?
We had heard if there's 5 houses or more on a road, that it needs to be town maintained. And if there's school children, it's even more important that it be town maintained. So I don't know if that's true or not. That's something that's been passed on to us.
Okay, I was just curious.
We are not aware of that, so you can do some
Something to
research
maybe look
bring
into.
that. Yeah.
midday.
Okay, thank you. You're more than welcome to.
You don't want to hear from us anymore?
Well, we're talking about the highway budget for this year, and then.
Well, yeah, you want to increase that.
Budget, so, the bread and butter of what we do, trying to be fiscally responsible. So,
You did have one that gave us some great information. And other than tripping on the cable.
I know, it would have been flawless, right?
What percentage of the town's roads does the town maintain?
So we maintain 71 out of 146.
So that's about, what, 47%?
A more accurate number than I would have put on it, yes. Yeah, correct.
And I
I
don't
think we
know,
need to look at that in terms of miles, though, not necessarily roads.
That'd be interesting to
Some of these
know.
roads are fairly,
That would be
short.
interesting to know what the
Yeah.
mileage is.
yeah. So they know them, you know them.
Yeah, we can get that.
Well, could you also, I guess, if you're having numbers like that, not only mileage per road, but how many houses are served, or how many people are served on roads? Because like, now what is it, 1.5 mile long road that's serving 7 houses versus a 3/4 mile long road that's servicing 1 house. So
You've got a lot of
that's important distinction as well, that.
flower
Pretty
things,
sure.
you've got a lot of one house.
We're right
roads.
around 70 miles of dirt road and somewhere around 18 miles of pavement. Give or take 5 or 10, no, 5 miles. We did at one time have the most mileage of dirt road in the state.
Yeah, for a long time, I grew up there.
Yeah, and I'm pretty sure it's right around 70, it could be 75, somewhere around there. So it's quite a lot of mileage.
Our road's pretty short. Did you ride up it today?
So, yeah, I did take a ride.
We heard somebody did.
Yeah. So it's not bad.
You get away with nothing on the gatekeeper.
It's not bad looking compared to some of the roads.
Yeah, you're the road manager.
I am,
I see you do a good reference to that.
yes.
Could you put a plug in for us?
What's that?
Could you put a good plug in for us?
Yeah. Yeah.
make sure you respond to your requests.
He's on our team.
Yeah.
Yeah, except that number is asking for. So, okay,
So I think we're gonna leave you.
okay.
It's going good, this is over.
Thank you for having us. Thank you.
Thank you all.
Thank you.
Thank you, Bullet.
Not even, but there's a nice turnaround up to office. Oh, yeah. So that's what.
The real challenge is.
It wasn't slope isn't that bad. That's not bad. But you gotta look at material, see how much material is on that road, and then also where it could be small.
Well, that could be a compliment, that could be a really good compliment, there.
Usually it's something like on the lines of, like, you take it over, you have to get the road prepared, and then once it's all done, we okay it, and then we take care of it.
But that's what I was saying, maybe they take care of anything, spend a few more, a little bit more.
That's a discussion that we had with these two roads. They, we laid out what didn't match. And then we basically said, it's your responsibility to fix it.
Yeah.
So I don't know, if we want to schedule a meeting for the next, prior to the next select board meeting. Sure. Given how how things look, I would say 4. It would have to be a 4. I don't think 4:30 is, I think 4:30 is dark.
It is dark.
So I think we have to go 4 o'clock. Does that work so we can get the notice out to everybody?
I would do it before then, because it's gonna be dark.
Yeah, I was gonna say 3:30.
3:30 or 3, and it's deer season.
Can't comment.
I'll wear my yellow.
Can I bring my rifle? It's good hunting up there.
Okay. So we'll see.
Make whatever.
What is it? Whatever, John.
Yeah.
One thing we could use from you is to just take your truck and the one ton and drive up at the plowing range. Not at speed, just drive up it with the speed that you would be plowing at and drive back down it and tell us how long it would take you to do that. Because I think that's gonna be one of those determining factors is if the road is stable and how long it takes you to do it. If you think it's just gonna be way too much.
No, I drove up there today and turned around. There's a good turnaround. Because we have some roads that are horrible to turn around.
Yeah, I just have one last comment on it for the board. I don't think that we internally don't have the ability to do that analysis that was talked about. We can send that request to Two Rivers, but I don't know that we'll get it, the Regional Planning Commission. I don't know that we'll get that turned around.
As far as the slope is concerned.
And in terms of getting the mileage of public versus private roads and the number of houses per road. I don't think that internally we can get that done, and I don't know if we'll get that back from Two Rivers in time.
But you can submit whatever you spent to V-Trans for your annual mileage for your.
Correct.
So I would submit that.
Correct. Right. We just don't have the number of houses per
No, we can't.
private versus public.
Can't ask you that question.
What?
Some of that information should be available from the lister's office. They should know how many houses on a private road.
We can, I make that request. Yeah.
But there's how many private roads, so that's a lot of research. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's not a single query that we can do for, well, I could write the query, but I don't think you can do it on the commemorative, but if you can, I'll help you.
Oh, like
You can work my office in. Oh, you're right.
We'll see what we can find out in prior to the public hearing.
Okay, and the date for the public hearing.
Will be the second Monday in November at 3:30 PM.
Third, maybe third Monday.
I mean, the third Monday
Okay.
in November.
So yeah, I would have not been there.
Because the second one is a holiday.
That is correct. It'll be the third.
Third Monday.
Thank you.
18th,
The 18th.
after the public hearing.
18th of November, and we're saying probably 3:30.
We'll schedule it for 3:30, and then we'll have a regularly scheduled select board meeting beginning at 5:30 that evening.
Oh, okay. We'll discuss it again.
To talk about the site visit and conduct the rest of the business that we normally would be.
Scheduling this meeting has been harder than working on the budget. Okay, moving on to the next agenda item would be the projected highway budget for this coming fiscal year.
So we have our road foreman, BJ, here to walk us through your budget. BJ.
Yeah.
Congratulations, by the way.
Guess you guys have the same paperwork I have, so. My big thing on this is the equipment number at the end. I don't know if you guys have any questions on before that. Everything else just went up the normal 4%. Couple of things might have went up a little bit more, like, I added a little bit, I think, to the tire fund. That is still there. Just because tires are pretty expensive, same with the chains, but don't know if that went through or not. My main thing is the equipment budget, and I need to explain.
Let me just interrupt, BJ. The other, some things went up incrementally, tires, chains. We did put $40,000 extra per year for paving as well. So up to $300,000 per year in paving.
And obviously, health insurance is a big jump.
Correct.
I was disappointed that we didn't add, put a mere $50 to the continuing education. I don't know if the various programs that V-Trans offers, are they free or?
No, they do cost money, and I think, some of the guys at work do want to take some classes. We were just so busy this year that, and we're kind of short-handed. I mean, we're going to work with the crew that we have, and make it work again for next year, I think.
Okay.
But a couple classes I signed up for a couple people, I had to cancel because we're just right up straight with all the work that we had to do this summer.
So I want you to hear we support that effort to improve the whole department.
Right. Yeah, no, that's good. That's why that budget, we didn't even hardly touch that budget this year, so I assume we'll probably get into it next year, so sign some guys up for some classes. So if you have any questions with any of the numbers, you can go over it with me. Other than that, I would like to talk about the equipment budget, and right now it's showing that we're asking for 210,000. That actually needs to double. And this is the reason why. We have two pieces of equipment that are, one truck is 7 years old right now. One truck is 6 years old right now. They both need to be replaced next year. It takes 1.5 years to build a truck. So when the budget goes through in July, I have to order the truck. It takes me another 1.5 years to get that truck. So we're looking at a 7-year-old truck. It's going to be almost 10 years old by the time it gets replaced. If we wait and don't up that budget, I'm going to be dealing with a truck that is much older than 10 years. We're going to wait a whole another year. Now, one truck with a trade-in, the 10-wheeler costs us 200 grand. That's with the trade-in. And the 1 ton is going to cost us about 150,000 to replace. So right there's 350,000. And I would like to try to, with the amount of work we have that you guys or that this town needs, and that we are trying to improve our daily work, make everything smoother, working more efficient. I'd like to get a used excavator in this town instead of using a backhoe. We have more mileage than most towns. There's more work to be done than most towns because it's a bigger town. And lots of towns are going towards excavators because they get more work done, it looks better, and it's just more efficient. And a used excavator, can find one for 100 grand. I might be able to save it. We might be able to find one a little bit cheaper. Depends how many hours you want. But you can find a decent one for about 100,000. So those are the 3 things that I would like to get on next year's budget. And you're looking at 420,000.
So I think we talked about this last meeting. We have an equipment fund.
We have an equipment fund.
We're building money up in that fund year by year.
Correct.
And what we're doing here is we're adding $210,000 to it.
That,
right? But that fund And there is a spreadsheet that exists on this. It has the purchase plan and the timeline for every piece of equipment we need. And then it has the incremental funding year by year. So you know when you get to year 2027, what your total is gonna be in that fund and what your total spend is. So we need to see that.
The issue though that we're having is the companies that build the vehicles are backed up
Right.
since COVID.
Yeah, no,
So we are lucky right now, our name is in there for two pieces of equipment, which we have a 10-wheeler here, just needs to be waiting for it to get in there to get built. We have our name in there again, because we're supposed to order the 10-wheeler. We kind of fell into this other 10-wheeler because a town decided to go a different route. So we took it in their order. So our name is in there twice right now. So hopefully we will have that 10-wheeler will be here by April or May of next year.
this coming.
Yeah. And I'm hoping to get another vehicle here before December next year.
Which will be the following fiscal year, which means you have another 210.
Well, that vehicle, I'm trading 2 trucks in for a 10-wheeler and I'm hoping to get a 600. But that's something that I need to talk to you guys about.
So part of the issue was that we got behind. Right, we didn't do anything for a couple of years, so now we're fighting an uphill battle.
The purchases, but some of the funding.
And the hard part is.
Prices have gone up.
And the prices have gone up, and the lead time has gotten.
That's the hard part, is people are waiting a year and a
My
half.
point is we need an updated spreadsheet. So none of us in this room for this budget year have seen the spreadsheet that shows the equipment plant purchases. We need that.
Okay.
Right, to make good decisions, be able to look at it and say, oh, wait, we're gonna be in the hole 500,000 in the year 2028. Or, we're gonna break down, we're gonna be at 0 in 2028. Yeah, that's those spreadsheets.
BJ, how many people are you short for workers now?
We've been dealing with one guy short. I think
You've been dealing with one person short
Yeah.
right now.
And I think-
Right now, you're one person short?
Yeah, but I
Or
think
two people short?
no, one guy, because I'm a working foreman, I can have my own
But
roof.
how many people is he allotted?
So when Bill was road foreman, Bill was more of an office foreman, not a working foreman. Right now there's 5, and we've taken that 6th position out of the budget.
You already did that?
We preemptively have done that, and and BJ and I talked about this in an effort to try to balance out some of the increases that you're seeing.
Correct, that's where I was going with this.
Right. So we are in agreement that we can operate safely and effectively with a 5-person crew.
Can we use some of our savings to help with that? Because that's what a lot of businesses are doing right now, to be honest with you. A lot of businesses, because they can't find help, are buying equipment that takes the place of a human. And if you have an excavator that's digging trenches and that's working, they can do that by themselves, taking the place of a person. You're being more efficient with your time. So it would help, they would be able to get more done without another person if they had an excavator.
But what we're dealing with is we have a backhoe that likes to break down, but we need a backhoe, but for blowing down trees.
You can drive out there, pick it up and push it up.
Loading salt in the winter, because where our salt shed is and where our sand pile is, we need a bucket to load a truck with salt. So we need to keep the backhoe, but being efficient with it, digging is not.
It's time consuming. Just stop the backhoe, turn the seat around, get in and put your.
Well, there's just so much more traffic
It's just
now
slow
compared
An
to.
excavator,
it was.
it's twice as much work done during that time frame. That's why I mentioned the fact that maybe replacing a laborer with that may help.
But the big reason is we used to be able to get a truck built and, you order the truck and you would see it that year. It used to be, 6-month process. Now it's a 1.5, 2-year out process. You get your name on a list and you wait. Brownsville's got a brand new 600 sitting in their shop for 6 months now. They're waiting for it to get built.
BJ, when we buy a new truck, how much of that money are we paying out of pocket up front, or are we paying when we receive the truck?
I think that I've seen it, you pay when you receive the truck. Our 10-wheeler, our tandem new truck is supposedly at ATG. He'll call tomorrow. He's waiting to hear from Viking when it can go up there to get built. It can go up there and sit in the parking lot. It's probably sitting in the parking lot at ATG right now. You know, it's one of those things, they're 20 trucks deep waiting to get built. Ever since COVID, nobody wants to wear it. It's hard to get equipment to build stuff. It's one of those issues that we're having. So I feel like we have to think ahead now. Otherwise, we're going to be stuck with, hey, guess what? It's time to replace this truck, but we still have it for 3 more years.
You know, we're well aware of the truck road woes in this town.
Yes.
What we went through this past year.
Oh yeah, I'm going to be driving that same truck that's going on 10 years old this winter. And that is one of the trucks I'm trading in. So that's the other thing I need to get an okay. I don't know if you want me to state that.
So, Jim, I think let me just back up a little bit. Right now, we approved the purchase of the new 10-wheeler a few meetings ago, the new Western Star purchase out of the highway equipment fund. So right now, after we take the purchases of that out, we're down to about $200,000, you know, accounting for some amount of trade-in on that truck, about $70,000 trade-in for the one that we're trading in. So the equipment fund still has, as of today, in essence, $200,000 in there.
Well, 200 cash plus a trade.
110 cash plus the trade-in value, yeah. Right. If we paid that full 275.
That's fine, I believe. Like to see the updated purchase plan for the next few years.
Right, I just wanted to give you the background information, because what I think.
So so
go ahead.
If we have 200,000 in the bank, let's say in the bank.
Yeah.
I want to trade the all-wheel drive truck that is 10 years old this year, like tomorrow. Say, yeah, that truck's going in. They already said he would give us 80 grand for it. I want to replace that with an F600 that would cost the town being built. The truck itself costs $79,000. And then to get it outfitted is $76,000. So we would have to come up with plow, sand, it's going to have the same style bed as the big trucks. So it's a side dump. It's going to have a wing and it's going to have a plow. It's 76 grand to build that. I have to order that truck tomorrow if I want it being built in December and then put it on our name that's up at Viking. And there's a real good possibility that will be here before winter next year. So if I trade 2 trucks in April, when we get that tandem built, I will go without a truck till about this time next year. Hopefully that truck will be done. But I have to order the truck tomorrow through Ford.
So
we have the money.
Then be down a plow truck?
What's that?
Will we then be down a plow truck?
We won't if we order that Ford, if we order that truck.
So what happens if you wait a month on the first one?
It won't be built.
Won't be ready for it.
It won't be built. They build the trucks in December.
Right.
For Ford.
BJ, just to clarify, we trade in the all-wheel drive, which is one of the 6-wheel dump trucks.
Yeah, they won't take that.
They're not taking it. Let's just, for the sake of conversation, say it happens. That truck doesn't go away tomorrow.
No, it won't go away.
That's what I thought you were saying.
No, that won't go away till we get our new truck, which won't be till April, May next year.
So you're gonna go this May, you're talking,
That is the one we already built.
so you won't have that truck for the summer.
I won't have that truck in the summer, which will be fun.
You'll be fine without it because you're only gonna be hauling sand and things like that.
Right.
Just out of curiosity, when you're all done, assuming everything works, how many trucks do you have to supply with how many drivers?
I have, everybody's full.
So, but 5 trucks, 5 drivers?
Yes. So I'll be getting rid of an all-wheel drive 6-wheeler and going with essentially a 1-ton. It's an F600. And that's why I'm replacing that truck.
But you also flipping a 10-wheeler to a 6-wheeler?
Nope, I'm flipping a 10-wheeler to a 10-wheeler.
So you still have 2 10s?
I'll still have 2 10-wheelers. We'll have 1 6-wheeler. And then if you guys allow this budget to go that I'm asking for, I will be replacing in July the 550 to a 600, because that 550 is going to be 8 years old.
Right.
And then it takes a year and a half to build. So it'll be,
It's great information. Hard to see the whole thing mentally when it's under discussion.
Yeah.
Right, so we probably need this, grid.
I think that was just our little side chat.
Yeah. So we hear you, I hear you, I get it. We just need to see the numbers. So we're really not gonna be able to give you a decision until our next meeting.
No.
You need to work with John to show us the numbers.
Yeah.
That's all.
no, I have no problem doing that with the budget for next year. The money is in our account for this budget. And to replace the truck that we have, I would like to see if you guys can order if you can okay that buy, so I can order that truck.
And you're saying by tomorrow?
It needs to be, I think I can wait a week, but it has to be a week. It has to be December. If it can't get ordered, I can't get it done by before next December, and that means we'll have that 10-year-old truck.
Can we maybe repeat that enough times so that we get it?
So I think if I take apart what the discussion was, BJ would like an answer today.
Yes.
That seems unlikely. At the next meeting, the spreadsheet that Jim has asked for is created and provided to the board that shows the total purchase and the life expectancy of those trucks and, the cycle of how we're purchasing things.
Yeah, including graders and everything.
Including,
I can tell you, the grader I want to keep, that doesn't require DEF. So we're going to keep that for a long time, and we're going to, when it's time to send it up, we'll send it up and have it go right through it. So we'll be saving money on that.
You get lucky and they'll change that rule. They'll change that.
That thing is a great machine.
Yeah, it doesn't have DEF.
We'll put 100 grand into it and keep it forever. There's nothing wrong with
Yes.
that.
Good, please.
So can I change the subject?
Yes.
The excavator. I don't have much equipment in buying equipment, or much experience buying equipment. But when I was looking for a farm tractor, I looked long and hard for a used one. And eventually bought new, which I still have and so on, because I couldn't find something that wasn't just beat up and so used that.
Well, I'd be calling Cat, the guy who would go through with Cat, and I'd be calling John Deere and see what they have for used excavators at the size that we want. We rented one this past summer and used it for the month, and it worked great, and I think it's a great size, but I definitely call the 3 big companies that are around here, like John Deere, Cat. I really don't want to go with Kubota, but I'd call Kubota. Have them, a brand new excavator is probably 150 to 200,000. And that's way too much. Okay. We can find a used one for 100 or maybe 80. It depends on how many hours we want.
And you have a way to move it?
We don't right now. I can get a trailer. I can also just have D&D move it.
Subcontract moving it.
Yeah. There is a guy that we do have a CDLA, so we could move it. We bought a trailer, but lucky for us, there's roads that all connect in this town. So we could just put it on town farm and just keep heading up that road or put it on a road. You know, we have a fuel tank in the back of the truck, lock it up. It's good to go.
You use it more for ditching? Is that what you're using it?
I would start on one road and just say, here, ditch.
Yeah.
Go up through, ditch, make the road nice. Every road needs it in this town. You know, Weed Road is a great road that needs to be ditched.
I live on.
You live on what?
I live on Weed.
Oh, you do? See, perfect. The backside of Weed is what I'm thinking of.
That's the last road you get.
So you're famous.
He's got exactly what he wants.
Now, I just have to ask this question. I'm not gonna take any more time, I promise, but when you go to ditch those roads, you have to have like dig safe or any of those companies come in to work on, where you can dig, so you don't tear out all of it.
It's tough. We used to not have to, sometimes we do now.
Yeah.
When we do a culvert, we do.
I see there's a tremendous amount of those wires on the side of the roads now.
It's crazy.
So you have dig safe go in advance and mark them out, and then how do you keep a permanent record of where everything is, so you can go back and do it again without calling again?
It's on my email and I print off sheets, like all the culverts we did this year, I printed off every single one.
Okay, that's it.
So I know.
Is this dig safe?
Dig safe, yeah.
It doesn't cost anything, so.
It's better than having to pay the fine.
So highway budget for personnel, is that budget based on being fully staffed?
We are, that's the budget I think that we have with what we have now.
Okay. But you guys just said you cut a position.
Right, we took that sixth position out.
You took, so what line item does it come out of?
Out of,
Personnel.
yeah. I'm just trying to find the real first.
Yeah, make sure it's not numbered.
It's probably divvied up among summer labor and winter labor.
All right, so just,
That's where it's
so just make a comment that your staffing is going down. If I'm looking at the right line item.
Hey, Jim, you gotta speak up a little bit. Acoustic's not good.
So my observation is staffing is going down, right? But if I'm looking at the correct line item, your health insurance is going up by 50%.
So the health insurance is, and we talked about this at the previous meeting, for the purpose of a discussion point in the budget, we did move up in health insurance plans, and there was a cost increase for that. So that's that's the big driver right now in the health insurance.
But that's, so the whole, did cost increase health insurance will be 50% across the board?
No. Martin, when you removed the sixth person from the highway budget, did you adjust the health insurance premiums accordingly? Yeah.
It's going from 105 to 156, or 106 to 156.
But if you have a new employee, and then you have a single employee, one to a family.
One less employee. And it's, yeah.
Right. The number, I will double check that number.
It just looks all right.
Yeah. I would agree. Yeah, we'll circle back to that.
Yeah, let's check into that.
There's maybe.
There's a lack of employees here. We want it dropped.
Tree removal, I went up a little bit, so.
Yeah.
Costs a lot to get rid of trees, and there's a lot of them in this town. I heard that, and just sitting there next to the telephone pole. We can't get to.
Marvin, we had no entries under gravel resurfacing. Should those be eventually completed?
I resurfaced a few, little roads. We put a ton of hard pack out. Our budget's like 50, it's 80 grand for hard pack. And we put it out as much as we possibly can.
But is that
Right.
under summer maintenance?
I can have that. So, yeah, Martin and I talked, we've been going through and getting rid of those blank fields to make the budget more concise.
Yep, when you see the general fund next time, this is a whole lot more concise.
Okay, excellent, thank you. Yeah, it's here, there's just a blank section for the last couple of years.
If you still see all those blank numbers on your paper.
BJ, can you tell me again about the trees, cutting trees and the expenses? Is it because there's power lines near the trees?
Yeah. If there's not any power lines,
It's not any power lines.
we usually try, yeah, we can, if we have the means of doing it, we do it.
Can you sub out the work to?
Yeah, I did.
Cutting trees down
I
there.
got a couple of quotes this year. They're actually gonna cut trees in a couple of weeks. They're doing one on Queechy Road, one on Station Road, and 5 on Bowers. The horseshoe rail over here. So they get, they're all dead trees.
They get the one on Weed Road.
Yeah.
Get that one?
Yeah.
You've seen it?
I've seen it. I'll look at it. Is that the one across the brook?
Yep.
That's hanging up?
Hey, it's about ready to go.
Yeah. I
It
can
would
look.
TK to get killed when one of his walks.
Hey, I cut one up on Friday.
We can't get to
Actually, there was
that.
one on Friday as well, but it was on a stick.
And the budget is shot for this year. So that might be one on for next year. I know there's a couple out on the Queechy Road I'd like to get. Every time I drive around, I see trees. I'm like, oh,
There's another one.
there's another one.
I got you.
Yeah.
Nope, I'm good. BJ, thank you.
Yeah, very much. You have any other questions? Like I said, I need to order that truck by December 1st. So otherwise we're kind of, go that it'll take another 2 years to get a truck.
Yeah, and as Tom said, we're very aware of the maintenance costs. So some of these things are phenomenal.
It's getting out of control. So that's next year's budget. The 10-wheeler, I think, is on its last year of warranty. That would be the truck that we would be trying to replace next year. And our 1-tonner 550 is one of the older trucks. It's going to be the oldest truck in the fleet. So that should be replaced too. That's why there's 2 trucks for next year.
Just want to state the obvious. We don't have to wait for the next select board packet to get that spreadsheet.
Correct.
So the sooner we get it, the sooner we can
Right.
answer questions and make sure we've got everything we need.
Right, understand.
Question.
Or
I've been thinking about this for a long time, and actually I did it once. You guys work all hours, especially in the winter time and stuff, and sometimes, when baking and stuff, if I have extra, I say I should drop this off at the highway department, but I have no idea where to put it or how to get in, or what to do with it.
Sherry, you bring all baked goods here and
I
real
just-
sure that some get to the road.
Just keep it away from our
Very
phone.
one time, I made a cookie tray, and I had all these cookies I did not want in my house, and so I said, my neighbors, I took a bed of them, and because it was supposed to have a storm that night, I said, take this with you to when you go to work. But, there may be people in town that would like to offer stuff to you in the highway crew when you're working 24/7.
yeah.
So think about that. If we have to bring them before the end of the day and have John deliver, I can do that.
Okay.
I'm mostly honest.
I would say, don't trust John. I'm married to one of them. I'm married to one of them.
I'm supposed to bring it to you.
Yeah. Yeah, it's hard to catch them sometimes.
That's what I mean, but I'm assuming you can't get into the highway department anywhere that's an office down there, but
Well, there's an office, but I wouldn't be sitting there.
Over outside maybe?
So if you guys need any certain numbers, I can let you guys know.
Sherry, thank you. This is the hardest
Thank you.
problem we dealt with tonight.
How did you fix the road crew?
Ever since we kicked the Girl Scouts out there.
Yeah. Trying to get the Girl Scouts out.
Yeah, Rich. About done for the day. All right.
All right, thank you very much. Have a good night, guys.
Okay, John, we're on to an update, on the current budget.
On the current budget, so you have in your packet, revenues and expenses for both the general fund and the highway funds. This is through October. So, so basically a quarter of the year. So things should be sitting at about 25 to 30%. If there's specific questions, some of the numbers I will admit are kind of skewed, but we remember that we kind of prepay all of our, the appropriations, that's the word I should use for, and not finding. So, those that show 100%, we do prepay those that do use the Two Rivers and VLCT and things along those lines.
So how do we collect 155% of HS 122 late fees?
So,
Martin?
so we budgeted, what did we budget, $15,000?
Yes.
Your revenue for the general fund?
General fund revenue is page 1.
First page, fourth line item.
So to date, we've collected more than what we budgeted. So we budgeted, we're expecting to get
So I guess I'm just
15,000.
surprised that this early in the tax year.
So it's done. It's actually done. October 15th is the last day to file your HS 122.
But if that's the last day, how would you collect late fees? That much late fee from then till now?
So, the HS 122 is supposed to be filed on April 15th.
But are these billed late fees or actually collected late fees?
They're billed.
Billed, not collected.
That's correct. So, you're supposed to file your HS 122 on April 15th. You choose not, you don't file it till April, or till July. You do your taxes in July, you get fined, we do an 8% penalty. So we have sent adjusted bills out since April
Yeah, but,
15th.
No, you answered my question. It's
Okay.
billed,
Right.
not collected.
It's showing as revenue, but
It's not revenue.
it is not revenue yet.
Right, some may be revenue because between August and September.
Right.
So do we have recent IT issues? So I see we're at 47% for IT already.
Where?
Under GF expenses, page 1 of 10.
IT services?
Yeah.
I believe, I don't think I accounted for the new licenses. So the first of each July, there's a license fee. And I don't believe I accounted for that last year because I wasn't aware of it until after we did the budget. And I think that's $2,000 or $3,000. So that's gonna throw us
Yeah,
off
okay.
budget.
Just curious. Yeah.
Going backwards to revenue again.
Yep.
Taxes, is it the same issue? It's billed but not collected?
That's correct, yes.
So it looks like if you just look at these numbers, it looks like this is money in the bank. It's not money.
It's not money in the bank.
Why do we do it that way? Why don't we just post it as revenue when it actually hits the books? And when it actually gets collected?
Right, so I don't have an answer for that.
Okay.
When we do the billing of the tax bills and tax admin, we transfer it over to the general fund, the general ledger, which puts it into that category, into that line. So when we transfer it over about $12 million with the school budget. I took the school budget out of it, I've taken the highway fund out of it, and put that to the highway fund, the revenues that were raised.
But we only transferred 96% of the.
So I've put $100,000 aside, which we do every year, as they balance the HS 122 to the budget in April. And then from there, I adjust if the school owes us more or not.
Don't actually collect the taxes.
Correct, or in the school, in the past, we had troubles collecting money, so when they balance out the school budget in April, I then adjusted at that point. We either owe the school money or they owe us money.
So if the school over collects, they pay you back, and if they under collect?
So that's what that $100,000 does. So when the state balances out the school budget, the school finance, you know, from the money from the federal government and the state, when they balance that out, we either end up owing the school another 40, 50,000, or we keep that $100,000.
Under the general fund expenses on page 2, we have listers. There's nothing for an RFP in there, so I assume that would be a new budget item that we would be, for an appraisal, town appraisal. I would say, just assuming that we would, that in the budget for next year, we would have a number there.
Right, it's in the budget.
Okay.
It's in the budget, and the money exists to do the reappraisal.
Yes, we have a reappraisal fund, separate fund.
Separate
And
fund.
that's what that is.
That has
That you're building it on for when the appraisal
Yes,
occurs.
right. So if you look under assessment, you'll see we put $15,000 to the fund this year. And the state of Vermont in April, I believe, sends us $12,000 or $13,000. So it's about $28,000 a year at this point. This is the first budget that we've put money into the reappraisal fund since I've been aboard. Yes.
Speaking of the RFP, I missed the last meeting. Did the RFP go out?
It has not gone out yet, but Stacy and I spoke today. We're still on track for getting it out for the next, couple weeks.
Backpedal into revenue. Looks like we got 190,000 for the Jennyville culvert grant.
Yes, that's
So
correct.
that's cash that came in.
Yes. So if you look in the expense side, there's an expense.
Right.
Yeah,
Yeah,
so
so
the
the
two,
next expense extra.
right, yeah, I have to do that. And, they paid about 86% of the total.
But I guess the question is, if we got the check.
Oh, yes, yes.
In-
The only one that doesn't work that way is the tax line.
Right. And we have, are we getting another 200 and something thousand for the paving just
For the Brownsville Road.
so that'll pop in.
Correct.
At some point.
But that'll be on the highway revenue sheet.
Highway.
Right.
You'll see a line on the Brownsville paving green.
Okay.
It's zero, obviously. at this point.
So,
Yep.
thank you.
You're welcome.
I think I'm done with revenue.
So the revenues are pretty much on track. We're supposed to be at 33%. We're off a few $1,000s. So we're on track as far as revenues go. Year to date, as you can see, the rec also is at 33%. On the general fund side, there's nothing that really sticks out. The major one that sticks out is buildings and grounds, because the salary is now in buildings in the general fund side instead of the highway side. So that kind of sticks out like a sore thumb at this point.
Yeah, sorry, Martin, I thought I was done with revenue.
No, that's fine.
But, so the Brownsville money's going to the highway.
That's correct.
Should the Jennyville culvert?
No, because the Jennyville culvert we were running through the ARPA funds was going to pay for that. And then John Brofer Campo found the grant for it.
Okay.
So that's why I left it in the general fund. So the general fund, I don't know if anybody has any other questions about it. Like I said, the only thing that's really gone astray is obviously the buildings and grounds. The general fund is at 35%. We're supposed to be at 33%, and that includes the buildings and grounds. So if that expense wasn't in there, we'd be at 33%. So the general fund we knew was going to be tight this year, a tight budget for it. 14% of that also is the Jennyville project, which is actually part of our unencumbered balance. And the work on Damon Hall and the rec center under capital projects are going to be in there in the general fund, but we have the unencumbered balance to help offset that when we balance out at the end of this fiscal year. So the general fund will be over at the end of this fiscal year, but we just got our land use in, and we get an extra 38,000 that I wasn't expecting. So it's gonna be, I still expect a deficit, but I don't think it'll be too bad because we have the ARPA funds that we have and encumbered for the overage on the Jennyville, the Damon Hall, and the rec center. Does that make sense?
That balance is.
Roughly 800,000. It may be a little bit more, but I know at least there's at least 800,000 there.
So I guess we can talk about this separately, but I guess, where's that 800,000 show on the audit report?
Sure.
I can show you, I can show you that, we have it.
So as I said, the general fund overall is holding its own. Going to be tight like we thought this year. Any questions on the general fund?
Jim, just to answer your question real quick, if you're looking at the audit, it shows that we have a significant surplus. 2/3 of that surplus within the audit is the money we received as ARPA money. That is not specifically set aside, but we are tracking separately to ensure that we're in line with it.
Yeah, running the report from my head, the only surplus I remember is the general fund surplus, which is a small number.
Yeah.
So it must be somewhere else.
If you go to like page 14 or 15 is sideways, it'll say general fund, it says 1.4521. That's the unencumbered balance with the ARPA funds in that number.
So we can follow up offline on that.
The highway fund, if you notice, our continuing education is way over. We sent our newest employee to driving school, so that's why that looks like that. The highway department.
By driving school, we sent him to get a CDL.
I'm sorry, yes, to get his
For the
CDL.
reporters out there.
Right.
To get his
It's not like
CDL.
remedial driving schools.
So he can drive the dump
On
truck.
each side of the.
If you look at the paving obviously is at $528,700. We are expecting, a grant money from the state of Vermont. That'll show up on the revenue side, so
That's a Verizon.
yes, that's correct. So that'll reduce that. So,
We did, on paving, we did go over budget, we anticipated that, so we will be over budget on paving, we knew that going into this.
So, with that taken care of, the highway department's actually at 26% through the end of October. So they're slightly under budget year to date. We've got a couple of loads of salt already, and they're gonna be trucking sand next week. So, the winter side of it will start moving. We will now, do payroll through the winter labor side. And that's all I got for that.
So the winter starts November 1st, is that?
November 5th we do, so payroll moving forward will be on the winter side instead of summer stuff. So,
I see some water bills in here. Like what water bills do we have?
water bills.
Yeah, for example, I thought
The only water bill,
the activities,
Was it water testing?
$465 actually.
so we have to test the water at the activity center, the rec center, in here.
You can get it.
Mike Howe does that. Goes
so it's
to
not a
end
water bill,
on,
it's
yeah.
testing.
It's
Yeah,
water testing.
it's water testing. We do have a water bill from the North Hartland Water Co-op.
Yeah.
It's like $75 a quarter.
And then on general fund expenses, page 5, equipment transfer, the $4,500.
That's for the rec vans. So we do that every year. Any more questions?
Those are the only things that cut.
Let me know if you find any other questions.
That should be good.
Thank you.
Thank you.
They learn something new every year. It's hard to go through these things.
Okay, thank you. Going on to the town manager update?
Sure, not much for the meeting. So you'll see that the work is largely all wrapped up. that I6 Excavating is due at the rec. They paved last Friday. They did a little bit of extra paving because the parking lot was in rough shape. So we checked in, we said, gave them the go ahead to do that. They're going to be starting here on Wednesday. So no disruption to voting. So we're in good shape there. Gary.
I do have a question. You said they are down at the rec center and they repaved the parking lot?
They repaved the exit side of the parking lot.
Oh, so they haven't done the parking lot?
They are not doing the parking lot.
Because remember, they're supposed to change the direction of entering and exiting at some point as a safety concern. That was part of the committee report when we bought that house.
That is news to me.
So look up the committee report, and it wasn't done because of the work that needs to be done. And for the safety of the rec center nursery school, when they across the basketball court, they wanted where they drive in and have a people are entering on the right side of the building and that's.
I'll see if I can find the committee report and follow up on that.
Would you please?
Yep.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
We need to add follow-up to our vocabulary.
So moving forward, I'm going to move forward with a grant application to get a generator for Damon Hall and some of the safety equipment that we talked about, like cameras and things like that. Damon Hall is identified in multiple planning documents as the emergency operations center in the town of Hartland. Would behoove us to have power at an emergency operations center. And it doesn't make sense to have things like that. We have a generator at the town garage in the fire department, but those are suboptimal locations for those things because those places are often quite busy during emergencies. So moving forward with that. We just went through the budget and Martin told you that the highway is currently under budget. We have incurred some not insignificant maintenance bills in the past few weeks. So it may show under budget now, but that will not be the case for long. Equipment maintenance. So both the F-550, the red truck, and the backhoe had some serious issues or big dollar issues recently. There will be a little bit of road slowdowns this week. The road striping is happening, so they're going to be putting stop bars on Bowers and a few other spots. I think fog lines on the Brownsville Road. So that will be happening. So we can anticipate slowdowns, but this is a grant that we had gotten a couple of years ago that got delayed. So we're just finishing up and getting all that safety work done.
It's probably not part of your project, but you ought to look at the bottom of County Road. And come down, there's no stop bar and there's no stop sign, and except, there's a stop sign across Brownsville Road.
Right, there was pre-identified locations. One of this, it was a highway safety improvement program grant that was in place when I started. So these locations were all pre-identified. And lastly, we are kind of working with the board of trustees of the library to integrate our personnel policies so that they mirror each other. There's a little bit of a disconnect right now. They're town employees, but they report to the board of trustees. So we're just trying to clean that up so there's less confusion moving forward. That's it for me.
Okay, for future agenda items, besides the capital program plan and the North Hartland School, which we expect to hear the committee report
Next at the next meeting.
I'd like to keep the Quiggy Road discussion going as to what our alternatives are. And then after this evening, I think we need to add that decision on the trucks and the balance in the various funds. Is there any correspondence?
No correspondence. No, you get mail or beds.
So,
Yeah,
so you got a fully staffed environment, so
there's 5 employees currently working.
We were supposed to have 6, but we got to 5, and because we alleviated a position.
It was kind of twofold in that BJ is a back on the road working foreman.
Right, because he's, right, exactly.
Correct.
So, and he's got some help too.
Correct. Correct.
Or did you have something? Okay, let's move into executive session, for HR.
we'll still make a motion. We go to executive session under 1 PSA 313. Re-employee evaluation.
Second that.
Oh, I have your name, Rick.
Who's that?
Telepathy. Okay. All in favor, say aye.